KR1299 with the first comment. Hello. Hello, Dan, and hello, Patrick, as well. How are you guys tonight?
People in here. I'm coming.
Oh, no, driving. Don't text and drive, Dan. All the Young Dudes is not an actual book, but it might as well be.
It is a fan fiction.
But many people have actually turned it into a book. They print out the PDF and then will bind it and make it into a book.
In 3 parts. That's what I see. 3 books is usually.
Well, it is pretty long, yeah. We've been streaming this every Thursday and every other Saturday for the past month or two, and we're not even halfway through it. Doing the math, this fanfic is about the same...
Hey! No!
What?
He just ate all of this.
Oh, did you steal your dinner?
Yes!
Oh, Bailey was bad.
Sorry, we're gonna fix it.
Cold? Well, I'm actually a little bit cold because it's not that cold out, but it's raining where we are today.
No!
And it, yeah, I was just outside and I'm all wet, so that was not fun.
Sorry.
Are you cold?
No.
Okay.
I'm a little annoyed right now, though.
I mean, Bailey, why you gotta do that?
Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were talking about all the Young Dudes and how it is apparently a 3-part book. Some people have bound it.
Yeah. There are lots of people on Etsy or whoever who will bind it into an actual book with really nice artwork and covers and stuff. I've seen pictures of people who have had it made for them, and it's pretty nice.
I don't know, maybe we should get a copy. I mean, it's a good enough fanfic. Definitely wouldn't mind it. And speaking of this fanfic, last time. Stoplight? Oh, okay, stoplights. Fair enough. Careful, though. Depending on what state you're in, that's not even an excuse.
I'm just trying to see where we're at.
Oh, okay.
I think it's this chapter. I think we're on 83. Okay. Last time, Sirius arrived in a rather disheveled state, and we found out that his family had been torturing him to try and make him part of Voldemort's Legion, pretty much.
Yeah.
And
the artist curse, literally just torturing him.
And we had great conversation with Gully the house elf. We learned Gully is a boy.
Oh yeah, which caught me off guard. I don't know why. I just pictured Gully as a girl.
You weren't the only one, though.
That's true.
Other people,
multiple people did.
Multiple people thought
so
Gully was a girl.
Bad.
And then Remus, Sirius, and James all slept in the same bed together, and it made Remus very uncomfortable.
Yeah, this is weird, right? Don't you think this is weird? Just us sleeping. This is weird.
Whatever.
It's only weird if you make it weird, Remus.
That's right.
And he made it weird.
He did.
And he left.
Yep, after Sirius fell asleep. Don't know what that's like.
This was your chance, Remus. Should have just snuggled up and let it happen.
Could have just happened. Could have just let it happen. Maybe
poor James if it happened.
That's true.
That would have been awkward.
That would have made it weird.
That would have been 100%.
Missed opportunities.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right, Remus. You had an opportunity.
Oh, why is this saying the audio bit rate is 0 right now?
Oh, no. No!
Let us know if you can still hear us.
Yeah, I don't want to start reading if there's issues.
Because on our end... On our end, it says everything's fine, but YouTube's telling me that the audio bit rate is 0.
It's saying everything is not fine.
Pretty much.
And we have a little less than an hour to read some more All the Young Dudes before we join up with Noelle this time to talk about our next book that we started to read. So,
Wizard of Earthsea. And Earthsea, you said, is actually a Studio Ghibli.
So the Wizard of Earthsea is the basis. Well, the series is the basis for the Ghibli film Tales from Earthsea.
Oh, okay. Well, we won't get into that too much because we do just have a little bit.
We shall wait. We shall wait.
Just want to make sure here, actually.
But no one is.
Pull it up and check the audio.
Can you hear me?
Yep, audio's good.
Okay, so we're good. Should I just get into it then? Shall I read?
Yes, go for it.
All right, let's do this.
Let's hope this chapter is a little less dark and a little bit more lighthearted than the other ones that we read.
Chapter 83, 5th year, January. Throw me a line, I'm sinking fast. Clutching at straws, can't make it. Havana sound we're trying, hard edge, the hipster jiving. Last picture shows down the drive-in. You're so sheer, you're so chic, teenage rebel of the week. Sunday, 4th of January, 1976. The rest of the Christmas break passed in a shaky black and white sort of way. The Potters hosted a small gathering for New Year's Eve, but very few people came. Many of their close circle were now working for Dumbledore, Mrs. Potter explained, and busy with the war effort. Whatever that was. Their peripheral friends had either turned their backs on the Potters. "We're blood traitors," James proudly declared, or else were simply too frightened to associate themselves. Moody would not hear of Mrs. Potter taking Sirius to Diagon Alley, but he needed shoes to begin the new term in, so they all sloped down to the village one afternoon. There, Sirius had fallen madly in love with a pair of brand new black Doc Martens with bright yellow laces. Remus was pretty jealous. His own pair had been knockoffs from down the market and had fallen apart long ago. On their way back from town, they passed a couple of punks, a very odd sight in this little country village, but Remus supposed there were teenagers everywhere. One of them had a row of heavy silver rings in the cartilage of one ear. The other had green hair. Mrs. Potter had forbidden any dyeing of hair, but the night before school was to begin, Remus had relented after hours of Sirius's begging and helped him pierce one of his earlobes using his prefect pin and a potato. It had bled a lot, but Sirius was thrilled. Thus he presented himself before Remus the morning they were setting off for London. He'd messed up his hair for volume, flipped it over one shoulder to show off his new gold earring, stood with his legs apart like a guitarist, hands in his pockets, black bother boots. "Muggle in sight," he grinned at Remus, putting a cigarette between his teeth. "How do I look?" "Like a twat," James said. "Like a rock star," Remus said, groaning inwardly. He was doomed. He'd hoped really, that Sirius's trauma might have cooled Remus's considerable ardor toward his best friend, might have jolted him into realizing that, as friendship is all they would ever have, he ought to focus his energies on just being a bloody good friend. But no. Sirius was a demigod, and Remus was helpless to do anything but worship him. "You silly, lovesick prat," he told himself. At any rate, Remus was glad to be going back to Hogwarts, where lines were very clearly drawn, and there were exams to focus on. Sirius turned heads at King's Cross. Muggles didn't give him half a glance, but wizards, or more accurately witches, stared. Mary came clacking over to him on the platform in a pair of turquoise suede boots with a heel that brought her up to his height. "Hiya, gorgeous!" she chirped, then hugged him fiercely, and Remus caught the look on his face over her shoulder. He looked pleased. It must be nice, after a hard time, to hold someone in your arms like that, especially someone as emotionally open as Mary. Remus allowed his own pain to peak, then subside slowly, concentrating on smiling and listening to Marlene tell him about her Christmas. Once aboard, they bundled into their usual carriage, and Remus would be forever thankful to Lily, who suggested that he join her in patrolling the length of the train a few times. "You look like you could do with some air," she smiled up at him. Yeah, cheers. Stuffy in there. Full on Christmas with the Marauders, then? You can say that again. Poor Remus. She linked her arm with his, leaning against him slightly. It felt nice, like a mini cuddle. She had a small sort of body. Maybe that was the attraction with girls. I heard about Sirius, she said very quietly. Is he okay? Yeah, Remus nodded. Think so. How'd you know? Sev told me, actually. I didn't believe him, but based on Sirius's new look... Fuck, how does he know? Lily shrugged. Does everyone know? Only that he's been kicked out and disinherited. No one knows why. She was looking at him and he realized she wanted him to tell her why. It's complicated, he said. I don't think he'd want everyone to know. You're a good friend. She patted his arm. Yeah, he thought bitterly. I'm a great friend, me. All I think about is Sirius. Sirius's safety, Sirius's happiness, Sirius's hands, Sirius's neck, Sirius's mouth, Sirius throwing me down on the bed and... Stop! Nope, not that time. Fuck's sake. Oi! Lily was shouting suddenly, pointing down the long corridor of the moving train. If that's you, Crouch, I'll have your guts for garters. Barty Crouch. Remus's stomach turned. He'd been there on Christmas Eve. Nasty little creep. The fair-haired 14-year-old was tormenting some first-year girls, levitating their book bags over their heads. Lily, ever fearless, marched over, threatening detention, loss of points, even a few hexes. He sneered at her, but let the bags drop. Barty, what are you... Oh. The door of the nearest compartment slid open and Regulus Black appeared. His eyes narrowed at Lily. What do you want, Evans? No need to be so rude, she tutted. She raised an eyebrow at Crouch. Stay out of trouble or I'll be speaking to Slughorn. You're on thin ice already and you know it. Come on, Remus. She glanced back at Lupin, who was still standing a little way back, hoping to avoid doing his prefectly duty. Regulus's head snapped back. He stared at Remus and all the arrogance vanished. He looked so much younger. Lupin? He said stiffly. Remus just nodded. Regulus opened his mouth once or twice. He obviously wanted to ask. Remus wanted to hit him, but not in front of Lily. He remembered Sirius's desperate concern for his brother and saw it reflected back at him in Regulus's eyes. He's fine, Remus blurted out. Regulus blinked, then nodded, then turned back into his car, slamming the door. Barty scratched his head in shock, looking very confused.
How can you be confused? You were there. You know what happened. And no, Patrick, this is not written by J.K., and I don't know if it's supported by her.
As far as I know, I don't think she's ever made a statement about this.
I feel like she should.
Oh, I agree. It's great.
Good enough. I want to know how much she would agree is canon in this.
Right. Thursday, 15th of January, 1976. As the second term got into full swing, Remus realized he needn't have worried so much. He didn't even have to try to avoid Sirius. OWLs were just round the corner now, scheduled to begin in May, and if the fifth-year students thought their workload had been heavy during the first term, they were in for a very rude awakening. Remus combated his added stress by spending every spare hour he could in the library or in the common room perfecting practical spells. By the third week, he found that he'd somehow become the unelected leader of a sort of homework and a revision club. A group of fifth years and even some younger students had started coming to him for tips or advice on their own work. Lupin, what's that flicky bit you do for locomotive spells? I keep doing it wrong. Remus, is it Aparicium or Aparicium? Oi, Lupin, can you show me how you did that timeline again? I'll keep forgetting. Remus pretended that he found the whole thing a huge imposition, but he was secretly thrilled. He was good at something. The Marauders, when he saw them, thought it was hilarious and had taken to calling him Professor.
No wonder he becomes a teacher.
And
professor.
No wonder he was probably the best one they ever had.
Hey, he had some practice back in his Hogwarts days.
One student in particular had started joining him for regular study sessions, a fourth-year Gryffindor called Christopher Barley. He was quiet and studious, with serious dark eyes and long, slender fingers. He was shy, but when Remus said hello to him, he gave an incredible smile, lighting up from the inside. Remus realized that after the third or fourth time he bumped into Christopher somewhere in the castle by coincidence, that the younger boy had a crush on him. I'm getting better at this, he thought guiltily. The feeling was, unfortunately, not mutual at all. Remus was flattered, of course. It was hard not to be, but he couldn't summon up any feelings beyond sympathy for Christopher. Neither of them were brave enough to say anything, which was just as well. On top of this, Remus had his prefect duties, which seemed to multiply each week. After a Hufflepuff, and Muggle-born, prefect had been hexed before Christmas while on nightly patrol and not been found until the morning, the heads of each house demanded that the prefects patrol in pairs at all times. These patrols had become a nightly farce for Remus, as he spent most of the time trying to direct Lily away from wherever the other three Marauders were out of bed, working on some nefarious scheme or other. This worked most of the time. The problem was that since Christmas, James and Sirius had become more daring than ever. Armed with the Marauders' map and the invisibility cloak, they navigated the castle like a pair of pirates, pillaging and laying waste. Several times Remus would get back from patrol and find them not in their beds, only for the two boys to return an hour later, laughing and full of bravado, telling him how they'd almost been caught this time. Almost. Quidditch, too, kept them busy and apart from Remus. The match with Slytherin had been the first game of the year and resulted in a tie, which meant that both houses were now competing ruthlessly for the cup. With James now at the helm, the Gryffindor team was practicing twice as often every week, and Potter was dragging Sirius out every morning at the crack of dawn for a jog. In fact, between Remus's desire to study, his group of disciples, and his prefect duties, his scant free time barely ever seemed to coincide with that of his friends. He barely saw them at mealtimes or before bed, except for Peter, whose only other extracurricular activity was his girlfriend. So it came to something of a surprise one night in mid-January when Remus bumped into Sirius. It was a routine patrol and Remus and Lily's last of the week. The full moon was due in 2 days, and Remus had cunningly manipulated the prefect's rota to avoid these nights. He had offered to take charge of the rota for their house, in fact, and the rest of the Gryffindor prefects were obviously relieved. They were all good at their jobs, of course, with a strong sense of justice and fairness, combined with the courage to do the right thing, but few Gryffindors could ever be bothered with the admin. Remus seized his opportunity, and it had thus far served him well. "Come on now," Lily said as they descended the flight of stairs from the astronomy tower, usually a hot spot for after-curfew activity. Tonight it was deserted. "The main ingredients in a calming draught. List them." Remus huffed as his hip clicked on the last stair. He was just glad he had a lot of energy shortly before the moon. "Lacewing flies, dew from a field of clover, sea water, and... Oh, come on, Remus!" Lily sighed, exasperated. "This is fourth-year stuff." "I know, but I can never... Wait, did you hear that?" "What?" "Shh!" He was sure he'd heard a sigh or a gasp, and now in the perfect silence he was aware that he could hear 2 more heartbeats nearby, pounding hard, and the scent of something else, something exciting and heady. He ripped back the nearest tapestry, raising his wand. "Lumos!" "Shit!" "Memory!" Lily gasped. "Moony!" Sirius said. "What are you two doing?" Lily said, immediately adopting her authoritative voice, which Remus thought was eerily close to McGonagall's. "Can't guess, Evans?" Sirius winked at her. His arms were still protectively wrapped round Mary's waist, his hair had fallen forward untidily, and his mouth was redder than usual. Mary's blouse was unbuttoned, almost down to her navel, and she was hurriedly trying to cover up. "We ought to give you both detention." Lily raised an eyebrow at her friend. "Oh, be nice, Lily," Mary cajoled, a soft smile on her lips. "Everyone does it. Just a bit of fun." "Well, as this is the first time," Lily relented. "Come on, we're heading back to the tower now anyway." 5 more minutes? Sirius asked cheekily, much to Lily's horror. Mary laughed and slapped him playfully. Bad boy, she giggled, buttoning up her shirt. Come on, it's not like anything else was happening. It's not like anything else was happening tonight. The 4 of them walked back to Gryffindor common room together, the girls giggling and whispering together, occasionally sneaking glances back at Sirius before bursting into giggles all over again. Sirius played up to this, walking with an exaggerated swagger, tucking his long hair behind one ear and winking at them when they looked. He tried to catch Remus's eye a few times, as if to let him in on the joke, but Remus kept looking forward and saying nothing. All right, Moony? Sirius asked when they were all in their beds and still had not spoken. He sounded a bit worried now. Good, thought Remus. Yeah, Remus replied, rolling over and closing his eyes.
Oh, Remus. Jealousy is not a good look for you.
That's got to be so hard to deal with.
You sly dog.
Sneaky, sneaky Sirius. Well, he can't go into the girls' dorm, so you gotta find somewhere else to do the thing, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. And, yeah, everyone does it. I wonder if Lily has had a boyfriend before this. Because we know that James was snogging the girls in the movie theater.
I feel like if Lily had had a boyfriend before, we would know. James and Snape would both know.
Yeah, Snape would definitely know.
Snape would know.
Maybe that's why he started his occlumency training. Or legilimens.
Maybe. To read her mind.
Yeah.
Figure out what he's doing. Well, they're neighbors or something in the summertime.
Yeah. Well, they live on the same street, I think, or the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because the whole way they meet is at the playground near their house.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Oh, Dan, 150 miles? What was the occasion? Just decided to take a trip, or did you have a destination? Yeah. Ron and Lav had the best rooms.
They did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they ended up having really bad choices in rooms, actually.
Right.
How it ended.
If it were me, I would use the room of requirement. Just saying.
Well, they don't know about that yet.
I know, but I do.
Oh,
I'm just saying I would use the room of requirement.
I guess Ron knew about it, right? That happened?
Yeah, Ron knew about it.
Yeah, why
because
did
it
Ron
was 6 years. Yeah.
Ron just not thinking.
Thinking, but not with his brain.
No, I hold firm. I think Ron wanted Hermione to catch them.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
His whole thing with Lavender was 100% about making Hermione jealous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why he went in that room that night.
That happens.
Okay.
Gotta have internet.
I mean, what's the point if you don't have internet?
Posted a picture of where I was on the Discord. Oh, sweet. All right,
cool.
We'll have to check it out. We're bad at social mediating. We are. We're pretty bad at it. What is Black up to? Need to find these books. Now my wife Steph is looking as I text. Check Etsy. Yeah. Etsy is a good place to look for that.
Because if you just want to read the story, you can find it online pretty much anywhere.
Archive of Our Own. That's where the story is published online.
But
and you can download a PDF of it.
Yeah.
But if you want a physical copy, there are people on Etsy who will do it for you.
Yeah.
I think we have time to read one more chapter. What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's read one more.
I want to see how Remus deals with this.
Yeah, what's going to happen next?
He does not seem happy right now.
Chapter 84. 5th year. Hurt feelings.
Maybe let's end on a good note.
Content warning for mention of homophobia.
Okay. You know, they mention that every time, and usually it's like Snape says something.
Yeah, and it's...
It's like all those chapters with Snape.
What are you trying to say about Snape? Let's just see what happens.
That he hates Remus.
Maybe he's not a homophobe. Maybe he just hates Remus.
Maybe.
2 more chapters. Oh my goodness. We have to do book club tonight. All right. Monday, 18th of January, 1976. Remus Lupin had absolutely no interest whatsoever in the Forbidden Forest at any other time of the month. Care of magical creatures had given him a healthy respect for the beasts who lived there, and he was inclined to give them a wide berth. The wolf clearly felt otherwise. James and Sirius, or rather, Prongs and Padfoot, as they were now known, had very little trouble leading the werewolf out of the shack and into the green velvet darkness of the woods. Remus's memories of the full moons were much better than they ever had been, but still not quite human and therefore less complete. He remembered scents, shapes, noises, and even tastes sometimes. "We can't stop you chasing rabbits if you want to chase rabbits," James shrugged, when Remus woke up that morning, distressed by the blood on his tongue. He seemed pretty happy about it at the time. "It was bloody good fun. It was bloody good fun," Sirius put in, licking his own lips. "You were encouraging me," Remus accused, pulling his trousers on underneath his blanket. "You ought to know better. You have self-control." "Yeah," Sirius shrugged. "But when I'm a dog, I'm a dog. That's what we do." That was Sirius all over. Have all the fun and take no responsibility. "Don't worry, Moody." James yawned. "We wouldn't have let you hurt a person. And you did have fun, I promise." He didn't need James to tell him that. As much as the human Remus preferred to remain aloof and separate himself from those baser instincts the wolf represented, he couldn't wait for the next moon. "You better be off," he yawned back. "See if you can get a bit of kit before breakfast." "Yeah, all right," James said sleepily. "See you, Mooney." "Bye, Prongs." Prongs had been a stroke of genius one afternoon when Peter had forgotten the word for antlers. They'd all laughed so hard that the name stuck. Remus wasn't sure where Padfoot had come from, likely a private joke between James and Sirius. Anyway, it made sense, and they'd settled into their new names comfortably, sealing them into the Marauders map. Madame Pomfrey gave him the once-over when he arrived, then just sent him on his way. "I don't even need a stretcher anymore," she marveled. "You've got good color in your cheeks. Rest this morning, but if you're feeling up to it, you may as well attend your afternoon lessons." He felt terrible for lying to her about the reason for his miraculous recoveries, but it couldn't be helped. Remus managed to sleep through the rest of the morning and woke a bit too early for lunch. He went down to the common room to sit by an open window and smoke while he went over his history notes for the afternoon. All things considered, he thought to himself, other than the serious problem, life was going pretty well. Sirius had bungled an apology about the astronomy tower incident. Remus heavily suspected this was a result of a conference with James. "Sorry, Mooney. I should have checked with you or used the map or something. I know you hate all the girl stuff, and I know you've done loads to keep us out of trouble this year." Remus had put on a great show of mulling this apology over, then forgiving his friend, because anything else would have been highly suspicious. He was mortified when even Mary came to offer her own apology and spluttered that he hadn't minded in the least. He liked Mary. He didn't want to feel this way about her. None of it was her fault, exactly, and as James so often said, Sirius deserved a bit of fun, considering the year he was having. "Hiya, Remus!" A small voice interrupted his thoughts. He realized he hadn't so much as glanced at his notes yet, and his cigarette had burned all the way down, unsmoked. "Hi, Christopher," Remus nodded, frowning as he brushed the ash off his sleeve. "You okay?" "Yeah." The younger boy grinned and hopped to join him on the window seat. He was smaller than Remus, but so was everyone else. "What you up to?" "History," Remus said, through his teeth as he lit another fag. "Cool," Christopher grinned. Remus raised an eyebrow but said nothing. "I won't bother you then," Christopher said, hopefully, "if you're busy." "What's up?" Remus asked, not wanting to hurt his feelings. There were enough hurt feelings in the world, and he refused to be responsible for anyone's but his own. Well, nothing really. It's a Hogsmeade weekend this weekend. Yeah, I know. Remus shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Surely Christopher wouldn't be so gauche as to ask him out. He had to nip it in the bud at once. I'm going with my mates, you know. Oh, right, James Potter and Sirius Black and the other one. He could tell that Christopher, like most of the younger Gryffindors, teetered between awe and fear where the Marauders were concerned. They were simply so daring and so successful, it was intimidating. Well, I was just thinking, that's all. Christopher cleared his throat. You know how we were talking about that new Earthsea book? I thought we could see if anywhere has stocking it yet. If anywhere was stocking it yet. Sorry, Christopher, Remus said as gently as possible. I really am busy. Maybe another time? Okay. Yeah, of course. Christopher looked crestfallen. Remus felt bad, but what else could he do? And he really did have plans. Not with the Marauders, actually. He had another phone call planned with Grant. After the incident with Sirius and Mary, Remus had hastily scribbled down a request to speak with Grant and sent it to Matron first thing the next morning. He somewhat regretted that now, having calmed down a fair bit, but he was still looking forward to speaking with Grant if he could. Hiya, Moony! Sirius came bounding across the common room from the portrait hole he'd just entered through. He leaned against the back wall beside Remus and Christopher, grinning that serious black grin. Hi, Padfoot. Remus smiled back. He hoped he didn't look at Sirius the way Christopher looked at him. That would be embarrassing. So, settle a bet for me in prongs, Sirius began, completely ignoring Christopher, who got up and mumbled a goodbye before making a hasty exit. Sirius wasted no time in flinging himself into the empty space on the window seat. How many nifflers would we need to find Rowena Ravenclaw's last diadem?
Oh, why are you looking for that, Sirius?
What the fuck is a diadem? Remus asked. Like a crown. Sirius snatched Remus's newly lit cigarette and held it to his own lips. Remus had to struggle not to moan at the sight. He simply took out a third cigarette. Why? He said, inhaling deeply. Why would you and James want a crown? Dunno, Sirius shrugged. Finding treasure seems like a marauder-type pursuit. Hey, what did that kid want? Christopher. Ah, is he in your fan club? Study group. What do you want? He was asking me out, Remus replied dryly, looking out the window. Apparently not dryly enough. When he looked back at Sirius, his mouth was agape. Oh, God, Sirius's mouth. Joking, Padfoot, Remus said with a smirk. He'd perfected sarcastic remarks. Sirius snorted. Good one, Moony. I thought you were serious there. Remus considered saying, No, you're serious, but that joke had been wearing thin since first year and would only earn him a punch in the arm. He settled for a shrug and another pull on his fag. If you did fancy going out with someone, though, Sirius said slyly, who do you reckon? Lily or Marlene? Shut up, Remus rolled his eyes. You're right, Sirius continued conversationally. Lily's taken. I mean, she doesn't know she's taken, of course. So Marlene it is. Hogsmeade on Saturday. Are you asking me out on Marlene's behalf? Maybe. No. I can get her to ask you out herself if you want. I just thought you'd say yes to me. I'd say yes to you, Remus thought pathetically. Marlene's not interested in me, he said. This, he had decided, was better than saying, I'm not interested in her, because of course that would only invite the question, why not? Course she is, your friend. Course she is, your friends, aren't you? Anyway, you have to come. We're doing it to support James. Now, James is involved. Remus stubbed out his cigarette and stood up, shoving his history notes into his bag. They obviously weren't going to get read now. Lunch? He said. Yep. Sirius nodded, flicked his own cigarette out of the window, and stood up. They headed for the portrait hole. Yeah, James is involved, Sirius continued as they made their way to the great hall. We all need to be there and ideally coupled up, so he can ask Evans out. James asks Lily out once a week. True, Sirius nodded, but this time he's going in with a game plan. Oh? He's got a song and everything. James writes songs? Remus's mask dropped for a moment in genuine surprise. Well, Sirius licked his lips. I may have given him a hand. Anyway, we all need to have dates to plant the idea in her mind, like Muggle psychology stuff. As much as I'd love to see James make a prat out of himself in the name of true love, Remus laughed, I'm busy on Saturday. Doing what? None of your business. See, Moony? Sirius sighed. This is why the girls can't get enough of you. So mysterious. Remus wasn't sure if Sirius was making a cruel joke, so he left it there. They walked quietly for a while. Hey, Moony, Sirius started again. Yeah? Do you fancy Mary? What? They'd stopped at just outside the lunch hall, and Remus spun round to face Sirius in shock. Sirius looked embarrassed, fiddled with his earring. Well, you've been a bit off since we started going out, and I've hardly seen you since the tapestry fiasco. Remus snorted. No, I do not fancy Mary. Oh, okay, good. Sirius smiled at him. So you'll be Marlene's date? Still busy, sorry. Saturday, 31st of January, 1976. Remembering that the last time he'd tried to have a private phone call he'd been followed, Remus asked to borrow James's cloak for their trip into Hogsmeade. Good old James. You could rely on him not to ask a lot of questions, especially when he was distracted by his nerves over asking Lily out. Yeah, course, Moony, course, he murmured, staring at himself in the mirror. It's under the bed. Hey, would you say my hair needs trimming? Looks a bit untidy. It does look untidy, Remus said from under the bed. But a trim won't help. Don't worry, girls think it's charming. Yeah, you're right. You've asked her out before, Remus said, emerging with the cloak and brushing the dust from his robes. How can you be nervous? Because I'm bloody mad about her, James replied without missing a beat. You know when you just can't get them out of your head, in your head it's great and everything's going the way you want, but then they're there in front of you, and it all goes to shit because she's just so much more spectacular in real life, you know? Yeah, Remus murmured, thumbing the fabric of the invisibility cloak as Sirius exited the bathroom. Down in the village, Remus wished James good luck before disappearing into the gents at the Three Broomsticks, throwing on the cloak and then walking straight out again. This time he was able to arrive at the old Muggle phone box at exactly the right time and excitedly keyed in the number. Oi, oi, Happy New Year and all that. Grant's voice rattled up the wire. Remus beamed. Happy New Year! I had a card for you, but I never sent it. Sorry. As long as you remember my birthday. Oh, okay. When is it? Grant barked with laughter. I'm only joking, you silly sod. I never sent you no card either. Oh. Still taking yourself too seriously, then? Yeah, Remus chuckled. I suppose. How are you? Shit, Grant replied, his voice going slightly high as he inhaled. Remus guessed he was smoking. Bloody terrible, actually, but don't you worry, my problem. No, go on, tell me. I might be able to help. Just matron. Don't worry. How are things with your posho lover boy? Over it yet? No, Remus sighed. Worse, if anything. Yeah, thought as much. You said it wouldn't last. Lied to make you feel better. Remus couldn't help but laugh. Thank God for Grant. I feel like I'm going mad, he said, whispering into the phone the secrets he hadn't been able to say out loud. I feel like I'm just going to do something crazy. He's so... Be careful, Grant warned. Remember what I said? Yeah, Remus sighed again. So how was your Christmas? Crap. I was supposed to go to me Gran's, but Grandad cancelled at the last minute. Didn't want his Nancy boy grandson showing up in front of the neighbours. Next time I see him, I'll wear a dress. Sorry, Grant, Remus said quietly, feeling even worse for not having sent the card. Oh, shut up, Grant replied, and Remus could tell he was smiling. Like I said, not your problem. Oh, I might not be here much longer, though. I'm, probably going to be moved on. Haven't exactly been going to school. Where will you go? Dunno. I'm done with Holmes. Might go up London, got some mates there. How will I find you? Bless ya, Grant said. Forgot how sweet you was. You could give me your address and I'll do my best to write. I can't. Remus felt a horrible tearing on the inside. I'm really sorry. I wish I could. I really do. My school isn't really a normal sort of school and, well, it's not really possible. Well, that's that then, Grant replied.
So it wasn't Remus who broke his heart. Or not Remus, Sirius who broke Remus's heart. It was Grant. Moving away.
Remus trudged back to the village with a heavy heart. All that obsessing over Sirius had come to nothing, and now he was at risk of losing someone just as important. Someone who actually fancied him back, too. Apparently Remus was only interested in people he couldn't have. He could look up locating spells as soon as possible, he decided. He wasn't going to lose track of Grant like that. He was mildly cheered up upon entering the Three Broomsticks to see Snape sitting in a corner alone, glaring about the room. Remus went straight back into the gents, removed the cloak, and then walked out, being sure to catch Snape's eye. The Slytherin boy nearly fell off his stool in surprise. Remus smirked as he walked over to join his friends. They were all there, Peter and Desdemona, Sirius and Mary, Marlene, James and Lily. Lily looked very pink in the face, but very smug, and James was looking at the bottom of his empty glass. He was dripping wet and smelled sickly sweet. Evidently the serenade had not gone down well. "Moony!" Sirius boomed invitingly. "You missed all the fun!" "Yeah, sorry." Remus smiled at everyone politely, pulling out his own chair. Sirius motioned to the pretty barmaid for another butterbeer. Remus glanced at James, then Lily. "How is everyone?" Peter let out a strange, high-pitched giggle, then clamped his hand over his mouth. Sirius raised an eyebrow. Quite well, Moony, quite well. I was just saying, it's been a while since the Marauders have done a proper prank." "You put stink bombs under the rug in the Slytherin common room last week," Lily said. "And yesterday you reversed the lenses and all the telescopes in the astronomy tower," Marlene said. "And you said that tomorrow you were planning to—" Mary started, but Sirius rolled his eyes. Yeah, but those things are child's play," he said decidedly. "Plus, that was just me and James mucking about. A proper Marauder prank needs all four of us." "Remus doesn't want to join in on your silly pranks," Lily said. "Yes, I do," Remus replied, partly because he was in a bad mood and felt contrary, partly out of solidarity for poor James, who still had butterbeer dripping from the end of his nose.
Oh, I want to know how that went. I wish we had seen.
I know.
Harry may not have had the most awkward moments in Hogsmeade.
Right? Maybe like father, like son.
I guess so. I don't think James went to go meet another girl, though. Hello, Dennis, and yeah, this is a very well-written fanfic.
How crazy is it that Peter came up with the name Prongs?
I don't know. That doesn't, throw me off too much.
No, it's not that it was wrong. It just was like, it's all these like little things that just make the betrayal that much worse.
I don't know if you could make it much worse.
It's I don't know, all these little things that keep happening, it's just devastating. It just becomes more and more devastating.
It does.
It is.
I mean, the more you know about their friendship. But I've noticed as the chapters go on, you see Peter's mentioned less and less, kind of drifting apart.
Well, he's got his girlfriend. He's
Oh, yeah.
busy.
But so does Sirius, and he's still around.
He is still around, but he's
Sirius, or not. I keep saying Sirius when I mean Remus. Remus has his boyfriend. Well, kind of boyfriend thing.
Yeah, but Sirius is James's best friend, right?
Yeah. That's true.
It is very close to canon and tries very hard to remain within the canon structure of what we do know about the Marauders.
Yeah. It does have a disclaimer in the beginning that there's some things that aren't canon. Like, well, for one, Remus is gay in this. And we don't know. We can only assume that he is heterosexual in the original because he gets with Tonks. But that doesn't mean for a fact.
Yeah,
He didn't experiment as a kid.
Remus's sexuality and being an orphan, those are the things that are really not canon.
Yeah.
Maybe Remus is bi. We don't really know. He gets with Tonks. He's in a heterosexual relationship. That's all we know.
Yep.
So.
I say it every time, but I think we should just tweet out to JK and ask her to read it and see if she can confirm or deny about anything canon in the story.
In the story. I want to look it up real quick. Does J.K. Rowling know about all the young dudes? I'm just gonna look. J.K.
Well, yes, he didn't want to be with her, and yes, he was pressured into it. But it wasn't because he wasn't like romantically attracted to her. He didn't want to hurt her. It was more of the werewolf thing than. I mean, maybe that was just an excuse, but it's a legitimate excuse.
I know. Oh, J.K. Rowling has said. Oh,
she has read it?
No. I'm just saying that J.K. Rowling did say that if she ever returns to Harry Potter, she will never write a prequel. She will not write about the Marauders.
Why not?
She doesn't think prequels are good.
It could be. I feel like you could have so much fun with the Marauders. There's so much there to go off of. But, I mean, it's her story. She doesn't have to.
She just doesn't find prequels in general to be any good. The hair. I'm just.
That is true. I don't think Snape would have let it slide, but maybe Snape just didn't know. Maybe it was kind of like the whole werewolf thing. He had a feeling that was the case, but he couldn't prove it.
This person said that all the young dudes made them cry.
We're only like halfway through. I mean, there's a lot
I know
to be emotional about later on. I mean, we kind of know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing in here about J.K. Rowling and all the young dudes, so maybe she's just not aware of it. I don't know.
Since we have a few people in here who aren't aware, this follows the story of Lupin from when he first goes to Hogwarts until the Battle of Hogwarts in the books, the Harry Potter books. So we follow Remus throughout his entire life, basically.
Yeah, it pretty much goes all the way through the Marauders' lives, all the way up through the war and the Harry Potter novels. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And yeah, I agree. This is one of the times where prequels would be worth it.
I think the reason why she won't write the prequel is because
there's already all the young dudes and she can't top it.
I think it's in some ways it would ruin the later series to a certain degree.
I don't know.
Part of the whole Snape debate is the fact that you don't know all the inner details about what went on with them at school. You only get the bits and pieces, right?
Well, you just have to you'd have to read the prequels after you read the main story. And yes, Lord of the Rings does have prequels. The prequel show just released its first trailer this week, actually.
I also would agree with Dan here. It's very easy to make plot holes when you write prequels. I think the issue with Harry
Yeah.
Potter truly is Harry Potter is such a tightly woven story with the ring theory and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
To then go back and write a prequel would be extraordinarily difficult.
I don't know. Maybe. She could do it, though.
She could do it.
I have faith. I believe in her as a writer.
Also, they're her characters. What if it would be painful to write it, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
And it would end in tragedy.
Who books about the world? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Christopher Tolkien's books, but that's different. The Silmarillion is like a history book.
That's kind of like
I don't
the
cons-
World of Ice and Fire.
I don't know if I'd consider the
too.
Silmarillion to be like a novel in the sense that like the Fellowship of the Ring is a novel. It's definitely like a history.
I'll take your word. I haven't read the
I haven't read the
Silmarillion.
whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing, but
I can't say one way.
it's definitely not structured like a novel in the classic sense of a novel.
I am kind of excited for the prequel show that Amazon's doing, though, because they're going back before the rings were ever forged.
Yeah.
So they're basically like, we're not going to tamper with anything Tolkien has done. And we're just going to go all the way back to where
they're drawing
we
from
can
the
just do our own thing. Just smart.
They're
And
definitely
that gives me
drawing
some hope.
from the Silmarillion is
Yeah.
what they're doing. I agree. I'd read a story like 200-300 years back in the day in the
Yeah.
the world of Harry Potter. That
Well,
could
that
potentially be
Harry Potter
the game.
the
I
game that's
know.
coming out is supposed to take place in like 1600 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like way before everything. So there's kind of prequel-ish thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who knows? That might turn out to be something like Winds of Winter. Never come out.
Never gonna happen. No, we are going to get Winds of Winter. It's called Harry Potter Legacy, right?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. My bad. Hogwarts Legacy. It's a game coming out. Check it out.
Coming out eventually. I think
someday.
I think we
maybe
saw
it'll
the
come
trailer,
out when
like
Winter comes out.
maybe. So never. Yeah, there was a trailer like 2 years ago or something like that. It was supposed to come out last year, and now I think it's coming out this year. I don't know, but yeah. Oh, did we miss this one? There's plot holes from Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings as well. Compare them, and there are a few things that don't add up, especially the building of Marauders and the birth of the dragons.
I don't acknowledge that there are plot holes in Harry Potter.
So we're not talking about. He's talking.
I know.
About,
he said
Lord of the Rings.
He said plot holes as well, and I'm just saying I don't acknowledge that there's plot holes in Harry Potter. I have heard that about the birth of the dragons, though, that there is conflicting information depending on what Tolkien book you look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know for sure though because I haven't delved that deep into Tolkien today. Like I literally read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings years ago. That is the extent. So I cannot speak on any of that.
Yeah, I need to dive back into Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely,
I just finished listening to The Hobbit again, but it's been a while since I've.
But I want to actually sit down and read the Silmarillion because I've never read it, but I've listened to bits and pieces of it, and I know certain things about like the lights and the trees and Morgoth being rude and Sauron's origins and Eru Iluvatar, and I know some stuff. Glaurung, the dragon. I know about Glaurung.
These ancient walls, even though dragons weren't born at the time that was written. Oh. Maybe Tolkien is bad with dates like JK is.
Yeah, maybe Tolkien just had the same problem. Yeah, Dan, that's right. The world is music. That's how Tolkien's universe came into being.
Is it?
Eru Iluvatar and the Valar sang the world into existence, and the Valar sing music that is pleasing to Eru Iluvatar, and it's all this big harmonious chorus of music. And then Morgoth, I can't remember his name before he becomes Morgoth, but he's just like, I want to make different music. And it was not in harmony with the other music.
Ah, okay. So he was the punk rock kid.
It was very like a Lucifer, fallen angel kind
Yeah.
of thing going on. And then it kind of goes from there. But yeah, they sang the universe into existence.
Oh.
And then there's Eru Iluvatar, and then there's the Valar, and then there's the Maiar. So there's like God, the big angels, and then like the lesser angels. And the Maiar, like Gandalf and Saruman are Maiar.
Maybe Tolkien came up with string theory before string theory was a thing. String theory is all about vibrations and strings, and
it actually really is
created by these like strings, and based on how they vibrate is the matter it creates.
Yeah.
So
I would.
maybe the universe is just one reverberating song.
I would agree with Dan. It is actually a very Iluvatar and the Ainur. That's what it is. The Ainur. Yep. And they all make the music. And then there's it's complicated, but it is very pretty. It's a very beautiful creation story. It is actually quite lovely. It's one of the few things that I really remember very well from the Silmarillion. That and the forging of the Silmarils.
Silmarils?
Yes. It's okay, I do know some stuff about Lord of the Rings, I guess.
Yeah, you're here like, I don't really know anything. Now you're going on, so the world was created like this.
I know, but I forgot about the Ainur. There's lots of stuff. The Silmarils, Feanor, Fingolfin. There's some elf in some story in the Silmarillion, like Morgoth. Like there is an elf who he hangs by his like wrist over a cliff for like 10 years.
Prometheus much?
Right, before he gets rescued, and there's crazy stuff that happens.
Does an eagle come and eat his liver?
No, but the eagles are in the book. They pop in and out from time to time. And then there's like the parallel between Aragorn.
There's a discussion plot hole about the eagles in Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god, don't be that guy right now.
I'm not going to. I just you said eagles, and I was just thinking like, oh man, so much.
Yeah, I know.
Back and forth with that.
There's two characters that are like the parallel to Aragorn and Arwen. Luthien is the elf, and then I don't remember the man's name, but it's this love story between this man and this elf. And in Lord of the Rings, like Aragorn actually sings the song about these two people who are like these tragic kind of sad lovers.
Mm.
And Aragorn sings the song because he's lamenting over the fact that like he can't be with Arwen and it's never gonna happen and blah blah blah. It's like woven into the Lord of the Rings too. But then in the Silmarillion, you actually get the story of what happened to them. Beren and Luthien. That's right.
Okay.
Couldn't remember the guy's name. I remembered her name. I couldn't remember.
You fools. Fly.
And yeah, Fingolfin versus Morgoth. That actually, I did know about that. I listened to a video about that the other day. It was a good fight.
See, you're getting into the Lord of the Rings.
It's cool stuff. Silmarillion is really cool. I just gotta sit down and read the whole thing.
Do you have it?
No, I don't.
Oh.
We need to get one. We need to get a copy. Aw, that's so cute.
That is.
That's so sweet. Aw.
Surprised like Tolkien's grave isn't like a national monument. Maybe it is.
I think there's also some discrepancy about like how the orcs were created. I think that's like another plot hole thing.
Seems like a lot with the creation of things.
But you could also
skewed.
do like the Martin explanation of like, well, it's different cultures and different people having different explanations for things. So
Yeah, there we go.
that's why in one instance he's named Azor Ahai, and in the other one he's called like the prince that was promised, and then in another culture he's the last
master of it's not my fault. That is Martin. No, I didn't make a mistake. What are you talking about?
It's cultural differences in translation of myth. That maybe that's what we can say about Tolkien. That's why we don't really know how the orcs came into being. It was different cultures.
The orc said one thing, the elf said another thing. It's just, it gets all mixed up.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Believe what you believe.
It's complicated. Xerxes. Persia. Spartans.
Yeah.
Spartans. Are we still waiting for Noel? Has he not made it? Let's see if Noel is here so we can switch gears and talk about
yeah, he's not here yet.
The Wizard of Earthsea. Okay.
He hopped on though.
All right,
so he'll probably be in a minute.
Let me take this one moment to then use the bathroom before we discuss. I apologize, everyone, that I must use the loo.
Well, switch over. We'll be right back. Technically still here. You can still hear him. Yeah, the headphones were a little tangled, so I just had to get them out. Our relationship? We are dating. Is our relationship.
What?
Yeah, Earthsea. We are reading. Well, we'll be discussing this week. Yeah, you know, Dan, I've never actually heard of this book before, but apparently it's like a very well-known book. Oh yeah, you're good, Dennis.
Can everyone see us or no?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I just have to switch this over.
No one got to see the lollipop bands. That's okay. Is Noel talking to us? Or no?
Hello, Noel.
I can't hear you yet, Noel. Sorry. I can't get that earbud in.
Okay,
yet.
testing again.
Yep, we hear you. Oh,
okay,
man.
cool.
A couple weeks off and like my whole flow is gone.
Hey man, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Hope things have been good.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry.
What are you watching? Sounded like you were watching like an 80s
No, they posted a video of the 100 days where everyone was dressed as old people.
Oh.
Of all of them dancing.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
Well, you guys are blowing up. I was watching a couple of your recent videos.
Participate?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, Noel, now I can hear you.
And all right, Dennis, thank you for dropping by, and we will see you next time.
So, are we ready?
How are we all doing?
We're doing good. How are you? How you been?
I'm good.
That's good.
Been
Sorry that I took so long to get through the chapters. I just have been crazy busy and just haven't had a chance. Took me a little longer than it should have to get through the first 5 chapters.
That's totally okay. I've been busy too. I told you I had that project I was working on.
Yep, I remember.
And I'll tell you guys about that maybe after this.
Secret, very hush hush.
It's interesting.
It's confidential.
And I do have some news about our potential project, which I know we haven't discussed in a bit.
Well, you were still very early stages before I could design anything, so that's fair.
Yeah, and I'm a little farther along, but some logistical things have come up that maybe we can talk about afterwards too.
Sure.
But on the topic of tonight, I did not realize Earthsea was a Studio Ghibli film.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the movie Tales from Earthsea is based on the series.
Wow. Okay, then. Well, I guess we're continuing the Ghibli theme. I didn't even realize.
Right?
Also,
2 of our last 3 books have been Studio Ghibli books.
Bailey just stole something out of the garbage.
Oh, no. It was probably just a tissue or something.
Yeah, so we accidentally continued our Ghibli tradition. So there's that. So why don't we
I'll show everybody the book. This is my old, battered childhood copy. The reason I picked this book is because I found this when I was looking through my basement at my old house. And I was like, I used to love this book. It was so cool. So I just thought it'd be great to pick.
I really like that cover much more than the new cover that it has right here. I don't know if you've seen the new cover.
I mean, I don't want to diss any art or anything like that, but my cover is cooler.
It's definitely cooler.
Way better. We're not dissing any art. They're both, great pieces of art, but
it's personal taste. It's not whether one is better or worse. It's all about personal taste.
One's definitely better than the other.
Well, plus, mine is all battered and frayed and stuff. It's just more charming, even if it had worse art.
It's also got the yellow pages, like the yellowed edge to the page and stuff. It just feels like
there's tape on the end here too,
right. That's well read, well loved.
Yes.
24 films. Wait, there's 24 films of this?
No.
Oh, what was 24 films of?
I don't know.
Maybe Studio Ghibli has 24 films.
Maybe there's 24 Ghibli films.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know there's not 24 of these novels, and there are not 24 Earthsea films, so...
And I also did not know that this is considered one of the greatest fantasy novels of all time.
Yeah, it is kind of a dark horse contender, I feel like.
It is, but I did see instantly... oh, you just misread, Dan. Okay. I did see instantly why... Well, you told us why now, but I thought it was a great segue from the Snow Leopard, because in the beginning, especially, a lot of the ways they describe things and the magic in this sounds very, very Buddhist.
It is.
Uh-huh.
It's got a very spiritual Buddhist vibe to how the magic system works. And the whole idea of maintaining harmony and balance in the magic. And
yep, it's all about equilibrium, right?
Yep.
So as a fan of the natural sciences, Evan, I'm sure you were a fan of that.
Oh yeah. And
stop trying to eat the liverwurst.
I can't help but think, because I've been reading through the Witcher books most recently. And a lot of the ways they kind of describe the magic in this kind of mirrors the way the magic works in The Witcher. Not so much, everything has its name, but that you kind of have to draw power from your surroundings and that sort of thing.
Using the energy inherently within the animal or the object or
Yeah.
the whatever.
So I wonder.
It's very
if
alchemical.
maybe- yeah. Because these came out, when did you say? Like the 80s?
No, I think
The
earlier than
60s,
that.
I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Okay. So now
First
I'm
published 1968.
Okay. So yeah, as I'm reading through this, I'm kind of looking at like later books I've read, and I'm like, they may have drawn some inspiration from these books.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But I think it's a pretty attractive idea, just as an idea, that magic would have an equilibrium like structure to it. I think
Yeah.
it's something that just makes sense.
It's not the first story I've read or watched or seen where that's how the magic works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Full Metal Alchemist operates the same way.
Maybe this was the inspiration.
The
It's
Aragon
possible.
books, it's the exact same way too.
I got some Aragon vibes reading this.
Oh, especially with the last chapter and you meet the dragon.
Well,
I got some very
should we
strong-
do this? Do you want to go chapter by chapter or just do a general discussion? I'm down for anything.
I'm okay with a general discussion. Or
Okay.
you want to do a chapter by
I have no preference either.
Okay.
Have a
Alright.
good night, Patrick.
She beat me to it. Good night, Patrick. Thanks for dropping in.
I got heavy Aragon vibes in the first chapter, for sure. Young man lives in impoverished village with extraordinary powers. Bad shit happens, and he is whisked away on a new adventure with an old man mentor.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But this came first, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's cool how he's doing the whole fog weaving thing. That's how he first demonstrates his power, right, in this book, Dooney, before he gets renamed.
Yes.
So-
Sparrowhawk.
Angela wants to know what we think about the Aragon series before we go any further.
That's a series I haven't read, so that's on YouTube.
I only read the first two.
So I read them all. I was a huge fan of the first one when it came out. Big fan. And Eldest, the second book, I thought was pretty good. I wouldn't say the quality nosedives in 3 and 4, but it takes a turn for the long-winded and not in a good way. And
Go ahead.
I'll just finish my thought by just saying that the big bad of the story, Galbatorix, I believe his name is.
Yeah, the evil emperor king.
Right. I mean, we never meet him until the 4th book, so it's just a given that he's just an evil maniac, and it kind of left me wanting more. And also, I forgot her name. The character, maybe her name was Elva, the girl that Aragon blesses in the dwarf city. I forgot her name. I thought she had the potential to be the real big bad of the story. Like, I thought she was going to supplant Galbatorix in some capacity, because she kind of, got empowered pretty heavily during the series. So anyway, I guess those are my thoughts. I do enjoy the books.
I read the first two, and I was not sucked in enough to keep going. It just didn't. I thought the first book was pretty good, and then I read the second one, and I just kind of left it going. All right, this was all right. And then the next book came out, and I just had no desire to keep going.
Oh, I will say really quick, the Roran chapters are better, almost, I'd say, than the Aragon chapters. Roran kind of proved himself to be a more interesting character as the series went on, I thought.
I don't even remember who that is.
I don't know. Sounds like a Samwise, though.
I remember he wielded a hammer at one point. It was like that was his trusty weapon.
Oh, so he's
Am
like
I wrong?
Robert.
Who asked the question? Angela?
Angela
If
had
I'm-
just wanted our opinion on the Aragon series.
Okay, I
She's
may have
holding
forgotten
out.
some of the details, but
She
yeah.
said she's trying to hold out for Lord of the Rings, and she was thinking about Aragon.
I mean, they're worth reading, I'd say.
I
you know,
just
there's-
I just
yeah.
wasn't into it enough to keep going.
Maybe I'll have to dive
maybe-
into it. I'll post a little Instagram review.
Yeah, maybe you
Or,
got to
like,
be
I
the
have that-
tiebreaker there.
Yeah.
And that, get a third
See.
opinion, because you have one person who made it all the way through, thought they were pretty good, but then it just kind of slags, and then you got another person who just didn't care enough to keep going.
But that makes me wonder if you kept going, whether you would have liked it.
Well, I wasn't invested in Aragon as a character. I just didn't. I was just not that invested in what happened next. And I actually, to speak on Noelle's point, I think by the time we get to the second books and we still haven't seen the bad guy yet, I'm like,
Right. Yeah. That's why I really wanted the girl that he blesses. I forgot her name. Like I said, I thought she had potential. And they kind of just waste her at the end. She's just like, I don't know, they just left a lot on the table with her, you know? They left a lot of runners on base, shall we say, with her.
so, yeah. And I'm very much a fan of, if you're going to have a villain, show. Don't tell. Show. Show me
Yeah.
what they got.
Show the evil.
Show me what you got.
Angela, this kitty's name is Lola.
Who is our sweetest cat of all.
The loveliest baby of the house. Discworld. I haven't read too much Discworld. The only Discworld book I read was On a Pale Horse. And I loved it. It was so good. So
I read the first one. I think it's called The Color of Magic.
that is the
Loved
first
it.
one.
Thought it was
Yeah.
so great, and I don't know why I didn't continue because I loved it.
I mean, I really liked On a Pale Horse. I just think it's because there's so many of them. There are
Yeah, it's
so
daunting.
many. It's kind
Yeah.
of a It's almost like the Wheel of Time. Like, I want to read the Wheel of Time, but there are
Everyone
a
says
lot
that
of
too.
them.
I know.
And I want to read them, but there are a lot of them. It's a commitment.
Then they're coming out with a Wheel of Time series, so we can just watch the show now.
Well, if we get rid of Prime, then no. Just
Oh,
37. Stan says just 37.
Just 37. That's fine.
It's fine.
That's just-
just 37. Okay,
That's just
all right.
like 6 to 8 months of reading.
So,
That's all.
what are your guys' initial impressions of this book since we're almost halfway through it?
Oh yeah, we're talking about Earthsea.
Yeah,
That's
we got to
right,
talk about
Wizard of
Earthsea.
Earthsea. So I'll be completely honest. The first 2 chapters, I thought I was gonna hate this book.
Same.
I don't know if it's the actual book or if it's the fact that I've been immersed in Harry Potter and Game of Thrones for my recent past. And those books are very detail oriented and they do a lot in the ways of like setting up the world and every little thing. And they paint a very vivid picture. And the beginning of this book, the first 2 chapters just felt very rushed almost. You know, in 2 chapters, I think it was maybe 40 pages, you go from Ged being this boy whose parents are like die, and then
The
he
battle
goes to
or-
his aunt. He finds out he has magic, and then 2 pages later, he's stopping this army, and then 2 pages after that, he's at this school. It just all felt very rushed.
He's like, all of a sudden, he's journeying with Ogion through the woods and hating every minute of it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that part. And then he's going with this master
Mage.
and then nothing really happens of that. He just walks around with him, and then he's just like, I can't teach you. You must go to the school.
Well, it's very much, I think chapter 2 is very much a demonstration of Ged's immaturity and childishness, and Ogion giving him the opportunity to make choices.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going, oh my god, kid. Stop being so impatient. Jeez.
But it
Oh my
was
God.
it was rough for me in the beginning, but after he gets to the school, things kind of slow down, and the book it feels like it reaches its stride at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I
It
agree with
feels
that.
much smoother. It almost feels like they had this idea and they wanted to start at the school, but they couldn't start at the school, so they had to put something in the beginning
To get him
let you-
to the
to get
school.
him there. And it was just kind of tacked on. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I do think it picks up. I think it really finds its voice when
Mhm.
he gets to the school,
Yeah.
the island of Roke. Um, and yeah, I think you guys raised a lot of valid points. A lot of it is by the numbers in a sense until we get to that point.
Yeah. And it was a shame that they didn't do more world building, because I think the language and the writing in the beginning is very well done. Like it said, it kind of has that Buddhist snow leopard vibe.
She's very sparse in her choice of words.
Yeah. But the way she describes things, it kind of reminds me of the way that they describe things in the snow leopard, like the environments.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
Yeah.
very few and far between, which I think was another reason why I was so let down, because I feel like you could have really built up this world. But I don't know whether it's intentional or if it just happened out like that, but I kind of like the way it's written now. That I've made it a little bit further in, because it doesn't build this world for you. It doesn't describe everything. And I think it adds to the story in that you're learning as Ged learns and experiences the world. They haven't
Yeah.
created this whole world that he's in. It's growing as Ged's knowledge of the world grows. It's like that whole coming of age, and I think it puts you more in the story.
I also think her language is just very sparse, and I think it allows for the reader to use more of their imagination and what they see it as in their head.
Mm-hmm.
She describes the thing, and then you have a lot more full reign to picture it how you think you want to picture it in your head. I will also give her this, because her language is so sparse and things are very short, simple, to the point. She creates these ancillary side characters that are very full of life and full of personality, even though you only get maybe a 2-3 sentence description of who they are and what they do. But the way that they interact with Ged in the world, you very much get a sense of exactly who they are as fully fleshed out people, while using very, very little language.
Yeah, well said, for sure. And I'd venture to guess you'd call Vetch one of these characters.
Vetch and the fisherman.
Oh yeah,
The fisherman.
Oh yeah,
the child. Picari or Peckberry.
It's like it's something
Peckberry.
like that.
I think I said
Yeah,
it as
Peckberry.
Peckberry or something like that. And Jasper too, who was obnoxious. But
yeah, he's kind of the Draco of the story.
I was gonna
in
say
some ways.
he's very much the Malfoy. Also, not gonna lie, Ged did annoy me a little bit.
Yeah, he's a bit impetuous for sure.
He kind of got on my nerves, because in the first 5 chapters, he literally makes the same mistake over and over and over again. Just saying.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
yeah.
How many times does he overexert himself and then pass out and is sick for months on end? It literally happens 3 times.
3 times,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Like,
once
Yeah.
when he protects his village.
The first time, yep.
And then the next time when he unleashes this, we haven't even talked about this dark shadow.
The shadow
world.
thing.
He opened a door to the underworld and unleashed a demon on the world.
Pretty much. And then
when he tries to heal the sick boy in Petchfairy's village. And I love that part because it's a very detailed description of him going into the spirit world. And at one point he's like, well, I could stay here. But he just chooses to go back to the world of the living.
I kind of hated it a little bit. Not the description, not his whole lulling into sense of false security. It had some very King's Cross vibes where Dumbledore is like, well, you could just go on if you want to. I was just literally reading that going, you are literally doing exactly what they said not to do, and now look where you are again. What is wrong with you? Now you're going to miraculously recover somehow, and then you're going to be sick in your house for months on end, and no one's going to know what's up with you because you have no self-control whatsoever. Or you're that overconfident, or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, dude, stop. Stop with not doing the things that they tell you not to do.
Well, he's got a death wish. I mean,
And-
it's pretty clear.
Stop
Yeah.
overexerting yourself.
I
Also, he should have known about the shadow creature, because in chapter 2 or 3 or whatever, when he was talking to that girl and he almost summoned the shadow creature and he got freaked out, and Ogion was like, "You saw that thing in the corner? Ooh, don't do
Yep.
that."
Mhm.
And then he's at the school and he's like, "Oh, well, I've been at the school for like a year and a half, so I can totally do the thing."
Yeah.
Dude, no! That's like ancient, super dark Horcrux magic. You can't do that.
you know, I got the Voldemort vibe.
From Ged.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
This young boy who thinks he's the most powerful and is experimenting with magic that he shouldn't be experimenting with. And he goes a little bit too far and creates this dark force that is trying to kill him. And from Voldemort's perspective, that's Harry. So-
From Voldemort's perspective.
Yeah.
No, Dan, I have never heard of Mercedes Lackey's Griffin Tales.
No, I haven't either.
I've never heard of them. Sorry, I had to get my Ged rant out because that's been my biggest issue with this book so far.
Yeah.
Is that the main character is annoying the crap out of me. Sorry, but he is.
That's fair. I mean, he definitely makes really poor decisions on a consistent basis.
It seems
But,
like he
yeah.
picks it up a little bit more when in the last chapter when he goes to visit the dragon.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's so cool.
My only
He just
issue,
takes on. He kills like 6 dragons.
I
He
know.
even turns into a dragon at one point.
Yeah, that's that's what I was thinking. Like, if you can turn into a dragon, why are you even messing around with this other magic? Just
Just go be
Yeah.
a dragon.
yeah.
Yeah, good point.
But he does say that he can't stay in dragon form for long.
It's
Longer
very-
than he has to.
It's very draining. Yeah, I like the idea that transforming into another animal, transfiguring in that way, is physically draining on the body.
Mhm.
Much in the sense that every time he does big magic, he passes out.
Yeah.
I like how not only does he have one arch wizard mentor leave him, but 2. Ogion and Nemerly both leave him. You know, obviously Nemerly dies because of Ged.
Right.
Like
that dude is literally dead because you made a dumb decision.
he's the Archmage of Roke, and now he's dead
Yep.
because of you.
Yep. And does Ged
And
feel
then-
bad? No, he does not, actually. He does not really
Yeah.
feel remorseful
No.
about it.
And then
He doesn't care.
Genther gets appointed to be the new Archmage. He's like, you should leave. I think you gotta go. You gotta
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at first he's like, "No, you should stay. I need to keep an eye
Oh,
on
right,
you."
yeah.
And then he was like, all right, get out of here. By the way, watch out for that shadow. Your whole future seems dark, but, you'll be fine, I'm sure.
You're kind of doomed, but you're good. But you're doomed.
Yep.
Look, you're doomed. No reason for us to be doomed, too. Get out of here.
Right.
Yeah. I said good day.
I said good day. No soup for you.
Eh.
Well, in any character, it'd be boring if they never changed, and I don't think it's spoiling anything to say that Ged is a dynamic character in this story.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I think you already see him kind of changing.
His attitude, he definitely did shift when he fights the dragon,
Yeah.
because the dragon definitely does his best Smaug impression
Yeah. I do like
to
how
lure him with things.
I liked how they described the dragons as more of the Asian style dragons. They're like longer, more worm serpent like.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the visual I had in my head of the dragons based on the descriptions were really fun. How she describes their scales like stone
Yeah.
and all of that, and how he interacts with his environment, and very cool.
Yeah. I like how he
dragon.
just totally confounds the dragon at the end, because the dragon's like, "Oh, you want my treasure? Ged's like, nope.
Mm.
Okay. That was okay. I don't know now. You flummoxed me. I don't know what you want.
I know. You see him at the end too, because he's like, "You want my treasure?" Nope. Okay. You can take any jewels. It's fine. I don't want your treasure.
It's like, oh. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
And I love how you find out that Ged basically risked his whole life and the life of the village on a hunch. Like you find out that he just guessed the dragon's name because he read it in
Yeah.
an old book.
so he
And
has.
he's like, yeah, I'm gonna roll with that.
Yeah. He's still figuring things out.
But
that's like it's like Harry. I just Expelliarmus is good. That's all I need. I'll be
yeah.
fine.
I
Yeah,
mean, all he
totally.
needs apparently is turn into a dragon and some freezing charms.
Yeah. Those dragons drowned.
I know.
That was terrible.
Hi, Jellybean. Welcome.
Hello, Jellybean. The Jedi and the Sith have the same problem of possibly passing out from doing too much. Not referring to the new movies.
That's true. Well, you see that in The Mandalorian too.
You see it in The Mandalorian
Baby
a lot.
Yoda doing it.
Grogu.
He's Baby Yoda.
He's Grogu.
not-
Is his name?
He's Grogu, but he's Baby Yoda.
Yeah, he passes out when he uses too much force energy. Yeah. That's true.
I think if we had to, I made a little note here in the dragon chapter. I think this is one of Ged's turning points. This is after he comes back from like the spirit world or whatever. And he's basically talking about how the wise man is one who never sets him apart from other living things. So it's like, for once, he realized that there are other people in the world. It's not just all about him, which I think is just one of those classic lessons. Like when you're a kid,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things, you know.
You
So
gotta
for
learn-
Ged, a kid who grew up on the hard knocks, never learned these lessons, never had anyone to teach them to him. So he had to teach himself, or life had to teach it to him. I don't know. I find that relatable and interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone deals with it at one point. Some people take longer to find that situation where they learn that lesson, but sooner or later it happens, you know? You got to realize that, I guess, you know, you're not special. We're all in this together.
Hey, look, it still says the snow leopard on the top of the stream.
Oh my God, I forgot to change that.
Wow, way to be
Okay.
professional.
I know.
We're not talking about the snow leopard, everyone.
It might as well be. Actually, that's a good tends to be a con. Oh, sorry, I just saw this comment. People passing out from exerting too many psychic powers tends to be a common trope in many stories with psychic abilities.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
How many times has it happened to Jean Grey?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's got to take a lot of energy.
Or
to-
Professor X?
Yeah.
Oh, Logan. Oh.
I think,
Cerebrum was too much.
yep, and in The Witcher they do it. I think it's just a common thing with magic that
Professor Trelawney passes out every time she makes a prediction.
I think it's a way that writers
And also
are
other
able
times.
to
And also other types.
show how much power they're using. You know, if they pass out afterwards, they're very powerful, and you know, it was a strenuous thing. It's an easy
Yeah, it's
way
like
to
when
represent
Hulk
that.
snapped his fingers, he just done. Just fainted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dan noticed the snow leopard mistake. He's like, I was gonna say something, but
Well, the thing was, I have a new graphic. I didn't put it up, and at this point,
it's too late now.
it's too late.
We're already in this, so it's too
We're
late.
too deep.
We're too deep.
Were you gonna quote something?
Yes, I was. I was gonna use that as a segue because this is one of the lines that made me think, oh my God, this is just like the snow leopard. And I think it also describes the magic in this quite well. As their eyes met, a bird sang out loud in the branches of the tree. In that moment, Get understood the singing of the bird and the language of the water falling in the basin of the fountain. and the shape of the clouds, and the beginning and the end of the wind that stirred the leaves. It seemed to him that he himself was a word spoken by the sunlight.
That's
I
some
like
snow
it.
leopard
That's
shit
a
right
good
there.
quote.
Right?
That's
It
super
also
Buddhist.
kind of is like, how do you live? It almost sounds like one of his, reflections. It's like one of his journal entries, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some how do you live vibes in there.
100%.
It's very much a I am one with the universe and we are all made of the same energy and we are all intertwined
Connected.
together.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't give up on this book. It sounds like it was a rough start for you.
It was a little bit, not gonna lie.
I think it was the roughest start for me. I think I had the hardest time.
Because I only read the first 2 chapters at first, and she hadn't started yet. And she asked me, and I was just like, I don't know about this book. I don't know about it. And then I read the next chapter, and I was like, all right, let's see if
It's
it keeps
picking
this
up.
trend. And yeah, it stayed trending through.
I got through the first 2 chapters and thought to myself, dear God, this is going to be a chore to read this book.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you guys do chores.
And then
I
read the
enjoyed
next 3 chapters and I was like, okay,
see where it's going.
we'll be slightly more optimistic going forward.
It is a relatively short book. I mean,
It's super short.
Yeah.
yeah, it's only my copy's only 180 pages.
What is ours? Oh, that's the prologue.
That's an epilogue.
224. So no, it's a prologue. Oh, this is the prologue for the next book.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, 224. So our text must be a little bit bigger.
I mean, I probably eat my words. I'll probably get to the end of the book and go, holy crap, this was fantastic. I loved this.
Next book, please.
Could be.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
don't
I
know.
mean, I thought this would be a fun choice, kind of pivoting away from
It's very
realism
different.
for a second.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I like it.
know.
It's I can't believe I haven't even heard of it before. Studio
Same.
Ghibli film, considered one of the greatest fantasies of all time, and it's been around for forever.
Yeah, how did we not know about this?
Maybe it's because it's a female author.
I don't know.
Ooh-wee.
There's not a lot of good fantasy writers who are female.
Maybe that's not their fault.
Or at least not a lot of
Yeah,
well-known ones.
I think
So
that's a
it's
dumb
very-
reason to dismiss anything.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. But no, the pantheon of great fantasy writers.
I'm just saying that
there aren't a lot of them out there.
It's nice to see a book that is recognized for its greatness and to be written by a woman.
Absolutely.
And Ursula Le Guin has a lot of range. I mean, her other works can be so different from this. I was reading another one of her books recently called The Lath of Memory. So interesting. Like, oh man. Different, totally different. But she is a really cool writer, so
that's awesome.
Definitely wanted to feature her on this show.
I think the lack of women writers in fantasy probably has very little to do with the fact that there are a lack of them, and more to do with the fact of probably misogyny and
all
that jazz.
I'm sure.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say I hate this book, I don't like it. It was just very hard for me to get into it, and I'm still struggling a little bit, but I am definitely giving it the benefit of the doubt.
I wouldn't say they're...
I love the writing style. I love the world. I love how the magic works. I love those little Buddhist snippets.
You just hate Ged?
I don't like Ged.
I think that's the point, though. I think you're not supposed to like him in the
Maybe.
beginning
Yeah.
because it's all. It seems like it's just a coming of age story. Like he's slowly gonna develop as a character and grow.
That's how
And
it feels. It feels kind of
Yeah.
like it's going to be a coming of age.
I mean, the best way to show that is to show it in the extremes. So it has to start with him just being a little shit, and then he'll slowly develop.
He'll be Ogion by the end of the. I liked Ogion, and I was very angry that he left because I wanted more of him. I was like, I like this guy.
Maybe he'll be back.
What did he say?
I'm-
What was the thing he said about the flowers? And he said, when you understand all of the things about the flower,
Oh yeah.
what it does in the spring, what it does in the fall, what it does in the summer, where its pods go, how it wilts, how it grows, how it's this and that. Once you know all of that, then you can know its name.
Its true name.
Its true name. And I was like, this guy, I like him. And then this guy is giving him all this information. He's very much like, when you know how to use all the magic, the last thing you want to do is use the magic. Like when you're a karate master, the last thing you want to do is use
That's
it.
like kung fu. It's
Right.
like one, yeah.
And then you got Ged going, I just want to do magic, old man. Hate you. I'm leaving. This sucks.
So
I
It's
hate
like-
you. I hate everyone. And I don't know. I don't care either.
And then Ogion
that-
is like,
it's that whole
fine,
thing.
fine. You can go learn here, or you can stay with me and do it this way. And I'm like, listen to, oh my god. The best teacher is literally right here in front of you. And because
yeah, but no
you're-
kid knows that. They just think, "Oh, shut up, old
Yeah.
man. I know everything.
know,
I'm
but it's-
invincible."
whatever. Just like, ugh, dude,
Yeah.
chill out. Have a little patience. Calm
Oh,
down.
You got a few of Le Guin's books.
Oh, so we got another Le Guin fan up in here. So
Yep.
that's cool.
God,
Or
how
sorry,
did I
Lath
know
of
that?
Heaven. I'm sorry, I messed it up. It's Lath of Heaven.
Lath of Heaven. Oh, is that another book of hers?
Yeah.
They're a fan. He said, I've enjoyed the few that I've read. Like I said,
I mean,
I'm down.
I want to pose to you a question. How do you think it's going to end? I kind of have an idea of where it's going to go. Obviously, Noelle, you can't answer this. You just got to try to keep a straight face and not ruin anything while we give our predictions.
How do I think?
Where do you
it's
think
gonna
it's going
go?
to end? Like, how do you think the story is going to go?
Ged will be at peace with life at the end.
I mean, that's kind of where I think it's going. But I think...
I
at
think
the-
he's gonna find out what the heck the shadow demon monster is.
I think the shadow demon monster is death. Think of it through your life, when you're young, you're in that teenage stage, you have this feeling that you're invincible and nothing can stop you.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, you start realizing that you're not invincible, you're mortal. And people can find aging and death something difficult to deal with. And I think at the end, he's going to come to terms with it. And he's going to go to death with the shadow creature in peace. So he created it.
So you think it's a
He's
manifest?
going to try to run from it, attack it, fight it, stop it. But in the end, I think he's going to be one
Well, it's
with it.
interesting how the dragon offers to tell Ged the shadow's name.
Yeah,
He's
'cause
like,
the
listen,
dragon
I know
knows
that
what it
I
is."
know what's bothering you. Like, I can help you out.
Exactly.
I
I
know
think the
what
shadow.
hurts you.
I think the shadow's name is death.
Yeah. Dan Williams says, "Oh, so he's gonna greet death as an old friend, is he?"
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say. I didn't want to quote it, but yes.
You don't want to
that's
bring it back to
basically-
Harry Potter
I
for like the
didn't.
20th time?
But that's yes, that's it. He's going to greet death as an old friend. But yeah, thinks he's invincible. Something happens, you realize that you're not, and then you try to prevent death and keep it away or stop
Yeah.
it.
Even though
And-
there's similarities, I think it's not so useful to compare this to Harry Potter, because Harry Potter as a character, obviously relatable and lovable. You would never
He's not
hate
Ged.
him like you hate Ged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I agree with what Evan said. I think you're not really meant to like Ged. I think Ged's just happens to be the main character, and to me it was all about the world. Like when I read this book as a kid, I was just like, I love the world. Like you said, Alexis, I love the world, the magic, the the lore that's kind of sprinkled in, even though it's not really elaborated on. It just really got my gears spinning. I just was like, this is cool.
That's what I think is brilliant about this is she gives so much with so little.
Right.
It's very, very well written.
Yeah.
She frames all of this with a few sentences here and there, and that is pretty brilliant. And the thing that's keeping me going right now is those little bits and pieces about the magic and how it works. And
Well, how should we proceed? I mean, should we just slam the rest of this for our next stream or carve it into 2?
No, I think we could slam the rest of this. It's about the same amount of pages.
and things have kind of calmed down for me a little bit, so I think I shouldn't have an issue getting through the second half like I did the last 2 weeks. So, I said let's do
Okay.
it. Let's just blitz through this baby.
All right. I already have my book picked out, so
Oh, you already
It's,
have the next book?
yeah.
Jurassic Park, right? You said?
No, I changed my mind.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yep.
Wait, are you gonna tell me now, or are you gonna make me? I feel like you should tell me now.
I could tell you now. Where is that book?
What'd you pick?
The Blue Bear book.
Oh, yeah. All
That
right.
looked so fun. That looked
The Blue
so
Bear
fun.
book,
Okay.
the 13 and a half lives of Blue Bear.
Yes, 13 and a half lives.
Yeah,
of Blue
that's
Bear.
that's all right. We're
Is that
gonna
the
keep on.
crazy one. That's the one you showed me. That was just like every page was just ridiculous.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Yeah, oh my god, I can't wait to have an excuse to order this book because you showed me this and I was like, I need to own this. This
There
is
it is.
amazing.
Yeah.
13 and a half lives of Captain Blue Bear. That's what we're gonna
Right.
read.
Walter Moores. Yeah.
Walter Moores wrote the book. He's a German author.
Yeah, that sounds great. So awesome, good plan.
That's gonna take more than 2 streams to finish for
Yeah,
sure.
100%. But I've been wanting to read it, and I'm super excited for it.
Just like I can't wait. That's what we're gonna read next. I
Yes.
can't even wait. I am curious to see how this is gonna end. I think the shadow could potentially be like a metaphor for the role that death plays in humanity. But I think the shadow creature is actually a thing.
Read it live. Which one? Earthsea or Blue Bear?
Read it live. Biggs reads. Oh shoot.
I can't promise my voices will be as diverse as Lexitron's, but I could read. Those who walk away from Omelas.
That's an awesome story. I was trying to remember the name of that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so good.
Okay. So yeah, JKK One of a Kind just recommended that too. So.
Yeah.
I was trying. Yeah, I knew it was like those who walk away from something.
And
Oh
they
my
are
God.
intrigued with the 13 and a half lives of Captain Blue Bear.
I am so intrigued too.
I want to know too, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
We've
yeah. You
just
showed
kind
me
of-
that. Oh my god.
Yeah, we just kind of glanced through the book. You received it.
It was my Imager Secret Santa.
Yeah.
I got it for Imager Secret Santa this year because my Secret Santa was from Germany. And what a great gift that was. He also sent me
looks great.
Mozart chocolates.
And
Off
the
topic
game,
of
right?
books. And the game, yeah. But I'm currently assembling a wall-mounted hammock and scratch system for cats, like a habit trail.
Ooh, that's awesome.
That sounds very nice. Bobans, would you like that, Bobans? Bobans is ignoring me. What about you, Lola? What are you doing?
Well,
You're
weren't
sleeping on the floor.
did you order it, or weren't you going to order that little hammock for cats that goes on the window?
I thought about it. I did see a hammock for cats.
Yeah,
I thought about ordering it. I haven't though.
but you have some lucky cats.
I do.
That sounds awesome.
A wall-mounted hammock. Lola would love that.
Yeah, she
That
would.
sounds like something Lola would really like. I think the black evil shadow thing is definitely a real thing. He's going to have to fight it.
I think he's going to.
But I think it's going to be a physical, mental, and emotional fight that will also signal and symbolize a transformation of sorts within himself for sure. Maybe it's a manifestation of all of the bad things about Gid.
Maybe.
Like his negative shadow self.
All
his inner demons. His inner...
His vice.
Badness, yeah.
That he has to fight and overcome.
Yeah.
That could be it too. Okay. I feel like if I'm not right, that could definitely be a possibility.
Or we're both wrong and it really is a shadow demon monster like in Lost.
So you're saying death,
but the shadow
Evan,
demon, yes, I think.
and you're saying inner reflection of inner demons.
Sure.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I had that right. Okay.
Because he's read the book, so he's sitting there like...
Yeah, he's... I've been kind of looking at the screen and I'm watching his expression when we talk about it. Like,
I haven't been paying attention.
Is that smirk? Maybe I'm right? Maybe I'm just really far off?
No, Noelle doesn't have tells.
Smirk. That sounds bad.
Making him sound like Malfoy when you say smirk.
Okay, someone said I was a Targaryen earlier in one of the things. And I was like, whatever, do.
What?
What's wrong with being a Targaryen?
You'd be a Tully.
I guess you're right.
If anything, you're a redhead.
Yeah, you're a Tully.
Okay. All right.
What are the Tully words? Loyalty. Family, loyalty, and something else.
Duty.
No, duty,
I feel
family,
like someone
honor.
Definitely
or something
flipped a coin for me at some point. Someone flipped a coin.
So maybe you are a Targaryen.
You didn't smirk. You gave that Noelle smile. That serious black smile.
That serious black smile. There you go.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
He is serious black. He's the rebel from a most noble and ancient house.
Dan Williams says Lancel Lannister.
Tully words. Right, glub, hey. Glub.
Oh. That was so great.
Oh. Well, if we're going based off of appearance, I guess you're Robert Baratheon.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess it depends which Robert Baratheon you mean. War Baratheon or
King's Landing Baratheon? Or maybe you could be Renly. I don't know. No, you can't be Renly. You'd have to.
I don't have his charisma.
Okay, you'd have to be Robert then.
Yeah, I guess I'm Robert.
There you go.
I need a drink.
I don't know. What does that make me?
Well, luckily you don't have any siblings. Otherwise, say Cersei.
Cersei?
I'd be worried. Well, if I'm Robert, I mean, you got.
I'd have to be Cersei. I guess so. The cats are our children.
I don't know who you'd be. I don't know. You're like kind of a mixture of some characters.
A mixture of characters?
Because you have some Arya tendencies. You like chasing cats.
It's true.
Then you have the motherly tendencies that we can see in both Catelyn and Cersei.
Okay.
And then you can be a bit grumpy. And show some
shots fired.
Show some Lannister or Targaryen tendencies. So I don't know.
Okay, then. Shots fired. You're grumpy sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm a mixture of Sam and John.
There you go.
Yes, Dan puts it better. You're too unique.
Oh, I'm too unique?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You have all the best qualities of all the characters.
Oh, that's... What a nice way to spin that. You could have just straight up called me Cersei. It would have been fine. okay with that. I
Yeah,
love
don't dance
Cersei.
around it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, because everyone who Cersei is romantically involved with dies. So no.
Jaime's not dead.
In the books, he's not.
We're talking about the show. He's not dead. In the books, he's fine. He's missing a hand, but that's not Cersei's fault.
I mean, at the ending of the books, we don't know his whereabouts, so...
That's true. You're too kind to be Cersei. Well, thank you.
that's what
It's
I'm
too
saying.
bad we'll never know.
I
since,
also
you
think
know,
I'm too
we'll
smart
never
to be
see the Winds of
Catelyn.
Winter. So
See, I have hope that we...
No, don't give up. Never surrender. Never give up. Have
I-
faith.
I
We
have-
will at least get Winds of Winter.
okay.
We'll get that
Okay.
book.
I have hope in Winds of Winter. The dream of spring is just that. It's only a dream.
Fair.
All right, I'm being too negative. I'm sorry.
I'm too smart to
uh,
be. I'm too smart to be Catelyn.
At least we
Just
already
saying.
have our copy of the 13 Lives of Blue Bear.
It's true.
Because
I
that
would-
is going to be a reality.
I would never
And
have
this will
stolen.
give me enough time to order it. So good
Yeah,
call.
definitely.
Telling me.
Fair
Oh, man,
enough.
I've needed a good humor book, so I'm hoping this is it.
Right, like I love the writing in this. Absolutely. Like I said, I don't really like Ged, but that doesn't make the book terrible. I love the writing style. I love the world building and the magic, but I agree it'll be kind of nice to just read something just hilarious and fun.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Once I finish burning through your Harry Potter readings, I'm on book 5. I'll be able to start going through your A Song of Ice and Fire readings, and I'm looking forward to that. Any idea what you'll read after A Song of Ice and Fire?
Well, not after, but we've had so many requests that we do believe that after we finish A Clash of Kings, we're going to start integrating some Lord of the Rings in with it. So instead of, 3 chapters of Game of Thrones, we're going to kind of go back and forth with Lord of the Rings.
So when we do Storm of Swords, we'll publish a chapter of A Storm of Swords and a chapter of, say, The Fellowship of the Ring. Middle Earthbound. Hey, I like that. Earthbound. Hey,
Yes.
Middle Earthbound. Yes. We will get there. The Mormont girl is perfect.
Yes, I always default to Hitchhiker's Guide too. And the best part is that some of the reviews about this book compare it to Douglas Adams.
So yeah,
So it's
Captain Blue Bear, they said
That out.
it's like Rowling, Douglas Adams, and someone else all like rolled into one.
yeah.
Very excited for Captain Blue Bear, and it's illustrated. I think we should read it for the
pictures
channel,
I
too.
saw were just as enchanting as the words. I was
Right?
just flipping through it when I was over there. I was like, what is this? I need this in my life.
It's
So,
so
I can't
great.
wait to order this and get started. That sounds so fun.
And we are just as excited to wrap up Earthsea and get to the conclusion of Ged and find out why he was the greatest sorcerer in all of Earthsea. What is he going to do that is going to make him...
He's going to learn his lesson and stop being so annoying.
Yes, he will learn his lesson and stop being a dingus. That's usually what happens when you get good and great, right? You learn to stop being a dingus.
Exactly.
Yep.
Obviously, in his case, the hard way.
Very hard. But
On that note,
Noelle, is there anything else you want to get out there before we wrap up this stream?
No, I just am so happy we could talk about it, and great to hear your guys' thoughts as always. I knew this was gonna be different than other stuff we've done, so I don't know. I loved our discussion. I loved your
Yeah.
guys' predictions, and I can't wait to see, how it goes. Reading the second half, which it's been a while for me too, but yeah, I can't wait.
hot
Should be
take.
fun.
Hot take, real quick.
Hot take?
Hot take, real quick. Ged's gonna ride that dragon.
You think
He
so?
is a dragon. He can be why?
He's gonna ride that dragon.
Maybe
if
they're
he-
gonna be lovers.
Sorry.
They're not gonna be lovers. What's wrong with you? Let's get your head out of A Song
He
of
can
Ice and
turn
Fire
into
for a
a
second.
dragon.
This is not Shrek.
I was just thinking of that with the donkey and the dragon, and they have little donkey dragon babies.
Yeah. Nah, he's gonna that dragon is coming back somewhere. He's either gonna ride it or partner up with it or something. Hot take. That dragon he's coming back.
It's gonna happen. Angela, thank
Wake
you
the
so much.
Yes.
For the $4.99 super chat.
Yes, thank you very much for the super chat. Super appreciate that. Wake the dragon. Don't make me wake the dragon.
Oh,
Or I'll give you another purple nurple, Danny.
that dragon kind of has the same, I guess, character as Viserys.
He was a little cocky,
Yeah.
but he could
Come
back
on
it
the
up.
come on the land and see what I do.
Oh my god,
Dead.
that reminds me of that meme with the beluga. Get back over here and say that, you land having ass man.
Oh yeah.
Get in the water and say that.
You land well and leg and have bitch.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it
Yeah, it
was,
reminds me of that meme.
Oh man.
All right,
On that note,
now we have to end the stream.
Yes,
before
this
it
has
gets
been
too
a
silly.
Great discussion. Thank you for this book recommendation, Noel. I was doubtful at first, but it's definitely picking up, and I'm enjoying it. And
Same. I'm ready to. I want to see how it ends.
yes, and thank you for everyone who joined us. We had a great time, some great discussion, and we will see you all next Thursday.
Where we will conclude the Wizard of Earthsea with the right graphic on the screen.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Take care,
All right.
everybody. Have a
Take
good
care.
night.
Good night.
See y'all next week.